Salam, this is Joan. This is my tape for April 2025 relating to prayer and improving the community. I'm going to start with, it's Surah 113 of the Quran. Allah ina alja antakum al-fajr amani min shiri bilayla min amutala min al-hasadin. And that's asking for protection from evil or what contradicts God's will and what makes us uncomfortable. So the tape I decided for me to discuss is about LGBT, where I'm located, namely because I don't think that way and it makes me uncomfortable. And my goal is not really to cause conflict or war, but more to discuss that I'm just uncomfortable in the environment, seeing it, if someone forces it, worry that someone will make me do the behavior in the future. So I did research the topic under a Muslim's viewpoint, and there are 64 countries in Islam that criminalize LGBT behavior, which means that there are varying ways of handling when it's seen, and they are physical punishment up to the death penalty. I live in the Florida Panhandle, and I did also want to discuss how I've had 36 cases of forced sexual aggression that were not consented to by me, and 3 additional cases of LGBT involvement that I didn't want to have happen. One was in Indiana, and let's see, the other one was in Ohio, and I think we're both in Ohio. Anyway, I'm hoping that I can relocate to a community where it just won't exist. Also, I did want to mention that the other ways they handle it, they arrest or imprison. In Yemen, they can put you in jail for 3 years for it. They have forced conversion to their own government's philosophy. They may lash you 100 times or flog you. They do tend to zero in on a man's involvement in LGBT more than a female. And often, if there's capital punishment, it's bundled with another charge, such as increasing corruption in their land, or there was another one. Anyway, they just bundle it with another worry. In 2024 in Yemen, there were 9 to 13 people that have been sentenced to the death penalty for LGBT-related offenses they listed as sodomy. And in Russia, they consider LGBT behavior as an extremist. Okay, so another thing I wanted to mention, I've heard 2 sayings that I liked, and one is, attack problems, not people. The other was to live and let live. So I think when we have different philosophies from other people, we have 2 options. One is to fight it and control it, or the other is just to separate, like in a marriage when it doesn't turn out. And then when I'm discussing these topics that I'm uncomfortable with, it did have have some impact on why I put a hijab on and said shahada. I am hoping for moving to a godly community soon. Then I have been studying the different sects of Islam to make sure I would be in the correct place. And so I'm going to go over those. And my paper. Within Islam, there is a Sunni version which you can't change anything that was made by Muhammad from the beginning of time. And in the Shia faith, they do believe in reform, that it's okay, and they await a Messiah called the 12th Imam named Muhammad al-Mahdi. They also are not just for peace. Sometimes they do involve themselves in war, and like Sunni Muslims, they are accepting of terrorism. While they emphasize justice and avoid aggression, they believe in the possibility of war in defense of Islam. And in Islam, usually they believe peace exists when everyone submits to law. That's a Sunni Muslim. Then there's two other versions of Allah. One is the Ahmadiyya Muslims, and then there's the Baha'i faith. In both those sects, they believe that messiahs have already arrived. One is the Ahmadiyya, his name was Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. And in the Baha'i faith, it's Baha'u'llah. They both tend to be more, they're just are for peace. And it says Baha'is do not tend to wage war with these sects. They can be an alignment or unity statement with the country that you're living in. However, with Sunni and Shia, it could end up fighting the country based on the level of morality and how they interact with Muslims. And that's all I have for this month.